Omi Simpson, Senior Manager, Funds Management Department at the SEC, and as well as Mr. James Kilifin. He is Communications and External Manager, or Communications and External Affairs Officer with the Securities and Exchanges Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me in studio. I trust that we're all well.
Very well, thank you.
Fantastic. I'll start with you, Madam Gillian. Perhaps you talk to us about the SEC, what you do. We hear about you a lot, but for a lot of us, sometimes we may not have proper briefing as to what you're engaged in, and so if you could help us with that.
Right. Thank you for having us. I am Naomi Simpson, and greetings to your listeners. We bring you greetings from our Director General and the entire Commission. Okay, so to know a bit more about the Securities and Exchange Commission, the simplest way we introduce ourselves is that as the Bank of Ghana is to banks in Ghana, and as the National Insurance Commission is to insurance entities, and as National Pensions Regulatory Authority is to the trustees and custodians in the pension sector, we are to the capital market, the stock exchanges, and then the funds management industry. And so we are a statutory body set up by the Securities Industry Act, Act 929, as amended by Act 1062, who are responsible for the regulation of the Ghanaian securities industry or the capital market. Our main mission is to regulate, innovate, and promote the growth and development of an efficient, fair, and transparent securities market or securities industry in which investors and the integrity of the entire market is protected.
So that's one of the many things that you do, protecting investors whilst regulating the investors as well. Was it last week you were in the Eastern region, right? Or you're yet to go to the Eastern region? Because I remember I was reading your LPMs, which said you were going to the Eastern region for time with the SEC, and I'll come to you now. How did that go? Because I know now you're on an educative venture, seeking to educate as many people as possible. Was that the first of the many forums you're seeking to organize?
Good morning once again to your listeners. I would say that wasn't the first. We as a commission, we set out to get closer to the investing public, and that is why the time with the SEC was rolled out. The idea is to interact much more with the investing public and other stakeholders to educate them on what the SEC stands for and investment opportunities within our market, and how to avoid fraudulent investment schemes which have sprung up over the years and are taking advantage of people. So the whole idea was to get close to the investing public, and the Eastern region was a fifth place that we have been to over the years.
So there's been
there have been other places.
In this year alone?
Not in this year alone, over a number of years. So we've been to the Northern region, we've been to the Western region, we've been to the Volta region. We actually went to the Volta region this year. So the Eastern region was the final one, and we are counting because our agenda is to reach out to all the regions in Ghana.
All the regions, but the fifth place in a number of years. There are those who say that depending on how important, not dependent, based on how important the securities and exchange market is, they would like to see a lot more of the SEC on this particular subject matter and educating people. Is it the plan that you're seeking to do this a lot more often than you may have done in the past?
Of course. And so in as much as we are moving from region to region, there are other ways we have in place to reach out. We use our social media handles, and we also have our websites, and other avenues that we use to reach out to members of the public.
Add to that,
Right.
so the time with the SEC is a flagship event,
Right.
which is town hall based. Then we go into a region, we try to make much impact as we can. We are in a digital sphere, as she said. We also use other avenues, which include very targeted social media campaigns
Right.
to go down on the ground and provide targeted education, which is both in the local language, which we know that to be able to reach to the masses, we have to speak the language that they understand. So we adopt local languages like Twi, Ga. So across the regions, we look at the most spoken languages across. So for example, we know that one of the most common spoken languages in the northern region is Hausa and also Dagbani. So we use that language, break down the complex nature of the security market into that basic format so that people would understand. So Time is Sec, which is an event-based, is one of the medium. We also partner with media to be able to take the message
from
down.
time to time, take the message down.
Exactly.
To them. I just want to stay on the aspect of education, because that's the drive you're on right now. So for persons listening, every now and then on respective social media handles, somebody is suggesting something that, oh, now this thing is moving, or there's this new venture, there's this new movement where when you get into it, you can not necessarily double your money, but the investment is good and you can make some very good returns out of it. People more often than not are looking for ways where they can find out, okay, is this legit? Can I verify this from somewhere? That's where you come in. How are you seeking to plug in and help the average Ghanaian who might not be financially literate to the extent that they can be able to spot some of these scams, if we can call them that?
Okay, so I'd say that one of the topics we treated and we keep talking about during the time with the SEC and all our campaigns, so far as education is concerned,
Right.
is how to identify and avoid fraudulent investment schemes. We believe that if we empower investors with information and they are informed, they will be able to make very good decisions around their investments. And so if you go to our website or any of our social media handles, there is information that abounds so far as making decisions around your investment choices is concerned, particularly when it comes to the ones that we feel are fraudulent and have to be avoided. So we encourage the investing public that before you decide to part with your money in terms of investment, you should look out for the licensing status of the institution you are dealing with.
Right.
And in that sense, if you go to our website, we have a list of our licensees on our website. So you can verify for yourself whether the institution you are dealing with has a license or not. Apart from that, we encourage investors to speak with the professionals in the market.
Right.
The institutions that we have given licenses to go through a very rigorous licensing regime to acquire the licenses that they use to operate. So we encourage that if you want to place your funds, speak to a professional. Don't just get up and give your money to anybody at all. You'll be well advised on how well you can invest your funds to be able to make a good return. So basically, those are some of the things that we do.
I believe you want to add something or
Okay, so just to add to that, when it's too good to be true, then obviously there may be something not true about that. So just imagine the scenario where someone comes to you and say that, put your money here for 3 months and you're going to get 50% of that.
Of the
Think
investment.
about it. It's very tempting, but the question you should ask yourself is, what sort of investment is the person going to put the money inside to generate that quick return within a short period of time? Now, when you think about deeply, that will raise some concerns that no, there's a likelihood that this investment may be a scam, right? So on that angle, you are encouraged to contact the SEC. For example, we get a number of inquiries coming in. I saw this investment. It says that I should put my money here and I'll get this amount of money. I just want to verify, is this licensed by the SEC? do you give me the right or the permission to invest in that? When those queries come in, the SEC will look at that and advise you appropriately that this firm is not licensed by the SEC, and for that matter, we are encouraging you not to put your money inside. So we are therefore encouraging our investors that before you put your money into any investment, you can call the SEC and find out. You can send us an email. You can call our phone lines, and you get that kind of information. Also reference our website, and just to put out the website out there is sec.gov.gh.
sec.gov.gh. Just hammer on the phone lines for us as well, so that for persons who are listening, somebody comes and says, "Oh, I have this. Let's do this. Let's put this money here, and try and get something out of this 50%, 100% in 3 months." Such that they can reach out. Then I'll ask a question about a lot of the online based investments that we're seeing these days, and whether or not that falls within your regulatory threshold. But do the phone lines for me first, and then perhaps I'll.
Okay, so to contact the SEC, we have a toll-free line just to make it easy for everyone.
No, you don't spend
you don't pay anything.
You don't pay
just
anything.
Call the SEC on that line for free. It's 0800 0800. That's 0800-1065. 0800 1065. That is 100065.
So 0800-100065.
When you call, the SEC will respond. We are also very active on our info mail. We have a standard email address that will receive all inbound inquiries, which is the info@sec.gov.gh.
Right.
It's a very active email address that you can send all sort of inquiries to the SEC, and the SEC will respond to you immediately to provide you the necessary advice.
To add to that, on our website, there's a place that you can lodge a complaint if you have any issue against any of our licensees. Apart from that, you can also submit a tip. If you have made any observation about any institution that is parading itself as a licensed institution, but you have questions about them, you can always notify us. When you submit a tip, it's not, if you want to be kept anonymous, you would have that. But you can always send that information across to the SEC from our website. Apart from the toll-free line, you can also reach us on 0302 768970 up to 2. 0302 768970 up to 2.
And I was just going to ask that last question on a number of these investment opportunities which is posted online. Do they fall under your regulatory scope? And if they do not, what sort of course of action are you taking against institutions which are coming up every now and then, posting stuff online? And then perhaps I'll ask you again about your presence on the respective social media handles, such that you can be quick to spot and identify some of these things to deal with.
Right. So we are in a digital age, and so for most of our licensees, their presence is up there on the internet. There are some others that are also not licensed by us. If we get to know, as she said, you submit a tip to us. If we get to know, we go after them. But for those that people invest with, our encouragement is that always ask whether they are licensed by any regulator, be it Bank of Ghana or the SEC.
Right.
And so if you do not get the answers, you can always come to us, give us tips, or ask whether these people who are soliciting for funds from you are the right entities.
Just to add to that,
on the social media,
in clamping down on licensed investment scheme, SEC from time to time releases public warning to tell investors about some firm that we've investigated and realized that they are not licensed. We list their names so that the public are aware that these institutions are not licensed by the SEC. There's also an ongoing collaboration with a lot of stakeholders, for example, the Cyber Securities Authority, plus the Coalition of Media Houses, just so that we can enhance the monitoring and also the education so that people are more aware. Also on our social media, we have this ongoing monitoring that flags out, because we have set up some alerts on our digital platform that alert us on certain sort of keywords and investment schemes that people are investing in, and immediately we pushed out to our investigating team in-house to go into that. Then we release a public notice and provide further direction to investors on how to avoid those ones.
Right, thank you. Final words as we wrap up the conversation. That event at Koforidua was successful. We look forward to a bit more final words from
yes. So what we want to inform the investing public and other stakeholders is that anytime you hear about time with the SEC, we are out to educate and empower the investor. But apart from that, it is also an opportunity for us to take feedback from the investing public.
Right.
So we encourage that if you have the opportunity, please allow us that grace to interact with you and share with you as much as you would share with us.
And you as well.
Thank you. My final words is that investor education is key. We believe that an educated investor is a protected investor. And so anytime you hear of us, please pay attention, show interest, and you can go to our website and other media channels and then educate yourself, because it is important for you to protect your funds or your investments.
James,
I'll use my last words.